The Reserve Bank has issued some draft guidelines for payment and small bank licenses. So the central bank has said that both payment banks and small banks will be niche or differentiated banks. Kishore Biyani, CEO of the Future Group, joins us now to give us his thoughts on that and whether they will be interested in that particular idea. Mr. Biyani, good morning. This, along with a whole host of other issues, will be discussed. But first, I just wanted your views on the fact that RBI is allowing supermarkets to launch payment banks. How feasible, do you think this idea could be, and would the Future Group be interested?
We have been going through the draft guidelines, and it seems that whatever we wanted to do earlier in terms of the prepaid card activity, which is open loop, we are not able to do quite a few activities. And we have a lot of urban poor customers and customers in more than 100 cities where we operate, cities, towns, and especially Northeast, where the RBI is putting a lot of focus. We operate in most of the northeastern states. So we believe the money transfer and the deposit, the prepaid card mechanism can work very, very well for us as a supermarket chain.
Okay, so
we have the infrastructure in terms of the physical stores. We have the infrastructure in terms of the systems and the technology to make it happen very, very fast.
Okay, Mr. Biyani, good morning. Thanks a lot for joining. Have you all thought through the process then? The promoter can get 40% stake initially. Have you all thought of other technology partners? Will you be tying up with a telecom company? Is that a natural partner? Any further thoughts?
I don't think so we need a telecom partner, because we run a kind of a brand on telephone also, T24, which is our loyalty program along with Tata Docomo.
Okay.
So we have that service, plus we have the technology already incorporated into our POS. So if somebody wants to operate from tomorrow in terms of money transfer and collection, I think we have the technology in place.
Okay. No, at least regulatory-wise, the promoter can hold 40%. So who would be a natural partner?
I know.
Have you thought that through?
I think in the last 2-3 days there have been some feelers which have been coming in, but I don't think so we have thought through how we are going to go about it yet.
Oh, feelers. That's interesting. What kind of entities would be interested?
I don't want to comment on that at this moment.
No, even broadly, sectorally, who are the kind of people who are reaching out?
No, sectorally, people who have done similar kind of things in the other part of the world. I think there are a lot of things like this in South America.
Yes.
And every retailer virtually is a bank there. And everything, the deposit is linked to buying of products in the store.
Okay, so retailers are reaching out, foreigners are reaching out, should we understand? No. Or are there domestic guys who are interested?
In between, currently, there are always the intermediaries which opens up ideas and thoughts and throws names.
Okay, so private equity entities?
No, not private equity.
Okay, since you have been going through the draft guidelines, I'm sure you will be able to throw some light on what kind of margins these payment banks will eventually generate, because the sense we got from a couple of analysts is that it's fine to start a payment bank, but the margins are generally wafer thin.
I think our infrastructure cost will be quite minimal in this case. Secondly, money transfer is something which we can do reasonably very well. Thirdly, we already are into prepaid card to some extent, which is but a closed loop cards. We can do an open loop card. So we have a lot of products which we can do, but there is a limit of 100,000 rupees of deposit. We don't know what we can charge yet. I think the charges earlier as a correspondent bank, we could only do 1,000 rupees, and there was very minimal charges. So until the charges are not known, how much can you charge? We don't know the model per se as such.
So, I thought the charges would be left to the market. In terms of competition deciding how much you can charge. My point was, do you find it fundamentally viable? Because whatever money you collect, the deposits can't be over 1 lakh, and you can only put the excess cash in Government of India securities. What is your understanding? Can you charge an interest? Can you pay an interest on the savings account that you will open? Because they will actually behave like current accounts.
No, I think if you look at the urban poor as a market and the daily wage earners, they need to deposit money somewhere on which they normally buy goods. So there is some mechanism which can be built upon. But I think it's a little early for us to get into details of viability or something like this. But we believe it opens up opportunity for a retailer like us to get into activities to build a customer base and to serve our existing customer base.
Can you give us any ballpark estimate of how much you look to invest into this project as capex?
I think it's very early to talk about all these things, but capex involvement will be very, very low for us because we have the physical infrastructure and we have the technology. So I don't think so the involvement in terms of capex will be very high for us.
Where do you expect competition to come from, Mr. Biyani? You know, one of our colleagues was saying that even Google is interested. Today, an analyst came with a opinion that Rel Jio could be interested. Telecom companies for sure. I mean, M-Pesa already has something up and going, and I think Airtel also has a product ready to be launched. Do you expect this would be a fairly crowded space?
I think everybody will have their own customers. If you look at Future Group, we have more than 30 crore people walking into stores every year. We do around 8 to 9 crore unique transactions every year. We have loyalty programs and database of 3 crore people. So it's a large base which we have. And we can align some services with our loyal customers.
Okay. As of now, there are no lending activities that can be done, Mr. Biyani, for a payment bank. But do you think eventually, you could get to a stage where not just deposits, but even a payment bank can go ahead with giving out loans?
I think a small bank, they have provided for giving loans of around 25 lakhs. And a small bank, we have more than 24,000 vendors supplying to us. And most of them are very, very small enterprises. So an idea like this can work a lot for this kind of vendors who are already supplying to us.
So
and there can be credit facilities created for them.
Are you saying that you will therefore look at both banks, a payment bank and a small bank?
No, I'm not saying that. But today in terms of qualifications, I think small bank is, they are wanting to look at small banks from NBFC and MFIs and other players, and payment banks, they are looking at supermarket chain and telecom operators and other players. So that's the way it has been defined at this moment. But I think there are vendors with us, there are a lot of suppliers, every part of India, and a lot of small enterprise, especially on the food side of business.
So are you saying that you could also be interested in the small bank?
We have to look at the guideline, but there would be somebody who can partner definitely with us on that kind of a bank also.
All right. Just moving on from this topic for a bit. The last time we spoke with you, you had indicated that you plan to bring down your debt from the 6,000 crores by about 1,000 to 1,500 crores or so. What is the update on that? I mean, in terms of sale of non-core assets, what is planned in the next 6 to 8 months, and how much you could scale down your debt to?
I think we have done a preferential allotment of 400 crores. There is a right issue being planned for which we are filing papers mostly by today or tomorrow. That is 1,600 crores of rights issue that takes the debt down by 2,000 crores. There is further divestment plan over the next 12 to 18 months of around 2 to 2,500 crores. And I think once we are done with that, we should be comfortable at the debt level which we have mentioned earlier.
Can you just elaborate a little more on the rights issue? Approximately what is the dilution?
I think the rates have not been decided. We are filing the letter of offer with the regulatory bodies, and once we get an approval, I think during that time we'll decide the pricing and everything. Right issue, there will be no dilution per se as such because the rights are being offered to every stakeholder.
So if you put together...
No, I meant the overall equity dilution.
I think the preferential allotment would have resulted into some dilution, but this 1,600 crores of rights won't result into dilution per se.
Okay. So if you put together the preferential issue, the rights issue and the divestment, which is 400, 1,600 and about 2,500 crores, so that would mean a little more than 4,000 crores. So you plan to reduce your debt by 4,000 crores in the next, say, 12 months or so? Is that what we can expect?
That's the plan of the company, and that's what we have been mandated for, to do this over a period of next 12 to 18 months.
Any specific assets you're thinking of selling off?
We won't comment on that as such, but there are many assets which we hold which are well known, and there are some divestments of non-core assets which will definitely happen.
Okay, now to come to your general business outlook, Mr. Biyani, have you seen footfalls improve, same-store sales increasing? There is clearly a spring in the step as far as mood is concerned, but is it getting realized at all in footfalls?
I think there has been a positivity all around. Big Bazaar has been virtually growing at very high double digits same-store sales growth. We have seen some exceptional numbers in July in all the lifestyle business. I think everybody in the lifestyle business seems to be enjoying the July month, which I believe most other people are growing at nearly 25-30% same-store.
But don't they come at big discounts? I mean, July is also the season of discounts, and now with retailers also in the fray, I mean, e-retailers in the fray, are margins taking a bit of a crunch?
I think these discount periods are planned, and if you look at the markdown strategy of every retailer in the world, if you look at lifestyle retailers, 36 to 38% products are marked down in a sense. And I think we have also learned now how to deal with markdowns. So I think it's a planned markdown, but I believe the sale might end up early this year because of stocks getting over much faster this time.
Okay. Right. Just one final question then. You spoke about your debt reduction. What kind of interest costs do you think you can, pay in the next couple of quarters? So from the current 150 crores of interest costs that you pay, how much could it go down to?
I think ultimately, if we come down to the debt level of 1,500 to 2,000 crores, the interest will be hardly around 40-50 crores a quarter.
All right, Mr. Biyani, thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking about all the plans that you have to reduce your debt. By the way, after he spoke about the rights issue, the preferential allotment, etc., the stock actually has gone up further, now up almost about 3-odd%. They plan to reduce their debt from 6,000 crores currently to 2,000 crores in the next 12 to 18 months with a big plan of a preferential issue, rights issue and divestment of non-core assets as well.